ospiti per parlare di pizza, creatività, viaggio in giro per il mondo, quindi vi aspettiamo qua, iniziamo tra 3 minuti. Yeah.
On the pizza talk.
Yeah.
One,
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
Yeah.
And four.
Okay. It does not need the mic because it's got that.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Okay.
When you can talk main stage, this is your.
Okay. Perfect.
Now.
Yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Perfect. He's going to show some slides. So I don't know about the lights.
Yeah.
Can you
Of course. We know. When we start, eyes is open. Of course.
Yeah, but do you think it's better him to stay here?
Okay. I don't remember. Yeah.
translation from Italian to English and both ways from English to Italian. So 1 minute.
Buon pomeriggio a tutti, mi chiamo Antonello Sorrentino, sono l'amministratore dell'azienda Sori Italia, partner di Best Chef Pizza. Ringrazio innanzitutto, scusatemi, metto comodo, ringrazio gli organizzatori Cristian e Giovanna per averci dato ancora quest'anno l'opportunità di partecipare ancora in maniera più importante a questa manifestazione presentando questo talk che tratta un tema che riguarda la nostra
This
mission,
talk focuses on our mission, that is to say, tradition, innovation, culture and origin. Our business is a family-run business that dates back to 150 years ago. Since 1868, we've been distributing dairy products over the years. With the passing by of time, we've made several steps forward. We've integrated our supply chain, and we also launched a very innovative dairy product production side, thus protecting our heritage, our legacy and our culture. And these are our core values. And I say this because our traditions, our culture really help us lay the foundations for future developments, starting from the development of produce that can really tell the story of the Campania territory. We gave it an innovative twist in order to be able to export them the world over by cross-matching demand and offer. Today with us we have prestigious panelists, and they will tell us about the importance of having premium products that can tell the story of the Campania region, produce that can actually have a very strong bond with the Campania traditions. So I'd like to thank you all for being here this afternoon. I would like to hand the mic to Luca Iaccarino.
Grazie mille, grazie davvero. Benvenuti a tutti, scusate l'attesa, ma
good afternoon, everybody. Apologies for keeping you waiting, and it's very, very hot and sticky today. My name is Luca Iaccarino. I am a gastronomy journalist. I write for Corriere della Sera, and I developed a small-scale festival in Turin, which is called Buonissima, and has been going on in the past few weeks. But without further ado, allow me to say that in the next hour and a half, we're going to try to tell you something very interesting about the world of pizza, and we do hope this is going to be a very potent inspiration for all of you. For the next 45 minutes, we're going to have two prestigious panelists with us, and so
questo monitor sarà fondamentale, potete spargervi ovunque, come si dice a Messa ci sono ancora dei posti vicino al coro, due ospiti eccezionali che hanno reso grande la pizza, hanno reso grande la gastronomia. Li presento, ma vi chiedo di non salire sul palco perché partiremo con una sorpresa, con un contenuto davvero speciale. Il primo ospite
the very first guest that is going to join me is Francesco Martucci from Masanielli,
Un applauso per Francesco,
there he is.
ragazzi.
Let's give him a big hand.
Grazie.
Welcome, Francesco.
Grazie Francesco per essere con noi.
Thanks very much for being here today.
Tra poco grande pizzaiolo ma appassionato di alta gastronomia,
Francesco
pratica anche, e proprio a proposito di alta gastronomia, l'altro ospite che dialogherà tra poco con Francesco è Eduard Xatruch, che con Oriol Castro e Matteo Casanas conduce ormai da tanti anni uno dei ristoranti più premiati, più innovativi e più buoni, che è la cosa più importante del mondo, che è Disfrutar di Barcellona, che è Colola.
Called Disfrutar in Barcelona, Spain.
E proprio Eduard partirà adesso con un racconto di cosa sia l'innovazione in cucina, in particolar modo dedicata, diciamo, alla pizza e ai suoi parenti, cioè agli altri lievitati. Quindi io non vi ruberei altro tempo. Bienvenido Eduard, muchas gracias.
Bienvenido Eduard, muchas gracias.
Grazie mille.
Well, thanks very much, Luca.
Disfruta.
Enjoy.
Buongiorno a tutti.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are really here to be represented today on the occasion of the Best Pizza Award. He's switching into English.
We are passionate about Italy. During a lot of years, we visit Italy. We love pasta, we love pizza, we love your products because we are from Catalonia, and at the end we are Mediterranean. So for us, Italy is our brother country, you know. And when Christian and Joanna told to us to come here to the Best Pizza, we say, okay, with no doubt, we want to come because we love Italy. We love pizza, and we love all the organization about this amazing Congress. And today, what we are talking about, so at Disfrutar we don't make pizza, but we always have the inspiration about the tradition to create new techniques and concepts, okay? And now, first of all, we're going to see a little video, a short video about Disfrutar. So for people that doesn't know what Disfrutar is, you can see this video. So please, if we can put the video, please. Teníamos claro que el concepto que queríamos hacer en el restaurante era un concepto moderno, diferencial, de vanguardia, pero con los pies en el suelo. Nosotros somos los tres cocineros, siempre lo hemos sido, y lo que cuenta es el trabajo diario.
Nosotros somos tres y somos amigos. Los unos nos apoyamos a los otros, unidos como una piña. Aprovechamos cada segundo para trabajar, avanzar, sea en la cocina o reunidos. Nos sentimos cómodos así y queremos que el equipo que nos acompaña se sienta igual.
La creatividad forma parte de nuestro día a día. La llevamos interiorizada, pero no es el único elemento, porque detrás hay un equipo fantástico que ejecuta y el cual el proyecto se debe.
Okay. No. So this is Disfrutar, and as you can see, when we started with Disfrutar 10 years ago, so it's more than 30 years that we are working in the kitchen, but it's 10 years ago that we opened Disfrutar, and we don't look for the achievements at all. It's just a restaurant where we want to make what we feel, okay? And we think that it's very important that people, when goes to a restaurant, in a pizzeria, in a trattoria, they must know where they go, because of course that if you go to a regular place, no, where people doesn't have a gastronomic essence, it doesn't matter, no? But when we go to a pizzeria where there is the pizzaiolo that is looking for the best product, that is looking for the best dough, no, the best recipe, there is something more after the pizza. So, and at Disfrutar, 5 years ago, when we start the menu, we give to our guests this paper, okay? And it's a paper where we put the words that we want to transmit with our food, okay? And these words, we don't write it. So we ask to our team, what's the meaning for them to work with us? And we call to the guest that comes more several times in the restaurant, and we ask to them, okay, so Disfrutar, when you come to our restaurant, what do you feel? And the words that people write more is like Mediterranean, emotions, creativity, technique, memories, aroma, tradition, and all these words that we transmit in a gastronomic restaurant like Disfrutar. I'm sure that you in your trattoria, in your pizzeria, all the pizzaiolos around the world that give to them our best, they can improve his identity in the pizzas. Because when you eat a piece of pizza and you say, wow, this is amazing, it's because there is something else behind, you know? So there is something else that gives us this value to be unique, okay? So after that, so we are talking about pizza, no? Next slide, please. So if we talk about pizza, so here we have a little presentation, but it's very easy. So we have a wall map, okay? So when we think about pizza, we can think around the world, because in all the cultures, in most of the cultures of the world, we can find a dough with some products on the top, okay? So a dough when we put vegetables or protein. Next slide, please. So here we have a pizza, no? An Italian pizza, okay? But in the next slide, you can find, so we are from Barcelona, we are from Catalonia, and you know pam tumacat, no? Pam tumacat maybe is the most universal recipe of a dough with some topping in Catalonia, okay? And it's just a good bread with ripe tomato. We spread the bread with tomato, virgin olive oil, and salt. But years and years ago, in Catalonia, we make a kind of pizza. In the next slide, you can see this dish that it reminds a lot of pizza, but we call coc and recapta. What's the difference? This recipe starts to make in the interior of Catalonia in the Roman period, okay? So it's from Italian people, no, that comes to Catalonia. And in all the villages, no, they have an oven to bake the bread. And the people of the oven bake the bread for all the village, and people take from the farms the vegetables. So in this period, there was no tomato, no pepper, no? Now we use tomato, we use pepper, but in this period it was garlic and onion, and on the top they put the protein that they have. So sausages, salted sardines, and this is a traditional dish that we call coc and recapta, and yesterday, that it was 24th of June, in Catalonia, and here it was San Juan, that it's a big party. And it's the traditional dish to eat in this moment. And at Disfrutar, we are looking always for new techniques and concepts that now I'm going to explain you a little bit what's the meaning of for us. But we try to make these new techniques and concepts, but always we are thinking about tradition, because our tradition, it's in our memory, and it's the link that makes people to understand what a new thing means and what's the real improve of a new thing, okay? So next slide, please. Now we are going to show a technique that we make in 2018, and we call puff patty without flour. So how we make this? We take inulin, that is a fiber that we take from the chicory, and cream. And we're going to make a mix. So we make this inulin with cream, we mix all together, and after we are going to heat it, okay, a little bit, to active this inulin. The inulin is a fiber that now is used a lot to make ice creams, because it's like a sugar, but it's not sweet, okay? So we mix this cream with inulin. And after that, we are going to straight this mix. And we are going to put in the fridge. So the inulin makes an effect like a fat, okay? So when we heat the inulin and we put on the fridge, after that, we have a texture that reminds of the butter, you know? So we can make butter without fat, okay? So we can make a cream of tomato, we put inulin, and we can make a butter of tomato. But in that case, we are going to use this inulin to combine with ovulato. Ovulato is an edible paper that is translucent, that it's made with potato starch, okay? So we are going to make like a millefeuille with this ovulato and this mix of cream and inulin. We are going to make different shapes. This is translucent and it doesn't have taste, okay? But it's like a millefeuille, so we put ovulato, this mix of cream and inulin, and after that, we are going to bake it. The shape that we make, it can be very different, okay? So we take this millefeuille, an hour row, and we put in the oven at 180 degrees during 8 minutes, and it's like a puff patty, okay? So we make a millefeuille, because in that case we don't put pressure on the top, okay? But we have this texture that it's very, very light, and in the tasty it reminds a little bit puff patty, okay? We can make the shapes that we want, whatever. And this is a technique that we make in 2018, okay? So in that case, we don't put nothing on the top of this puff patty. So in the oven, it's puffy, okay? But if we put something on the top, we make this that kind of reminds for us like a coca or like a base of pizza, okay? And with that it's very, very light, we can make a lot of different things. So what can we do? So in that case, when we make this technique, in a natural way, we think about the coca and the pizza, okay? And atoll is a pizza. We love pizza, and pizza is another thing. But we take the inspiration from a pizza. And what we can do, so with that, we can put things on the top. And the first dish that we make, it was a kind of margarita, okay? So next slide, please. What we do, so we put on the top of this dough, we put a powder of tomato, we put a gelatin of basil, a stracciatella, and a little bit of chili oil, and caviar of virgin olive oil. Another example in the next slide. The next slide, please. Okay, so here we can have a coca pizza, okay, with truffle. So in winter, we make black truffle with the stracciatella, an oil of black truffle that we make in the restaurant, that maybe you for the trattorias, it can be amazing. So when the truffle is very, very good and it's mature in February in Spain, we take the truffles, we blend with oil of corn, we cook during 2 hours at 60 degrees, and after we freeze, and we can use it during all the year. So during all the year, we have a natural oil from black truffle. The next slide, please. So here we have a coca of funghi porcini. Another time, we take the inspiration from Italy, and in that case, we make like an escabeche. That an escabeche is like the fungi confit with a little bit of virgin olive oil and sherry vinegar. We make a puree. We put on the top of this dough, and on the top, slices of raw funghi porcini, salt and pepper. Very simple, but very tasty. And the next one, please. The next one is a representation about very traditional dish in Catalonia that we call escalivada. In that case, we make red peppers that we cook in the oven, very, very slow cooked. We make a gelatin of aubergine, anchovies, and a butter of anchovies. And in that case, all are salty snacks or dishes, but of course, you have sweet pizza, so we can make desserts with this technique too. In the next slide, you can see this, that in Catalonia we call tortell, okay? The tortell is a very traditional dessert, that is the puff patty or the dough with chantilly. And we put like this. So in that case, we make with the same technique this, and it's the most light and crispy tortell that you can ever imagine, okay? And looking for how the pizza can inspire a restaurant that is looking for the new techniques. So here you have the pizza frita, that is amazing, no? And the best pizza frita, last week we can eat a pizza frita from Franco Pepe, and it was amazing because it was crunchy but very, very light, okay? So now we are going to show you a technique that we make in 2016 and became a classic technique and disfrutada, and now you can find all over the world because there are a lot of people that is using this technique because every year all that we make, all the dishes, all the techniques, we share, okay? Because we love to share the information. It's like you make here the pizza, and today we can see fantastic pizza makers like Francesco that share his knowledge, so it's the same, no? So now, the next slide, please. And we're going to see how we can make a tribute to this pizza frita, okay? It's very easy to make, but it's extremely good. So here what we have is that we have egg, water, flour, a little bit of salt and sugar, okay? And we are going to make a liquid dough, no? Very easy to make. So here we have the white flour, we put sugar and salt. And after we mix it, okay, and we are going to make a dough. Here we mix, and after here we have this plain egg that is pasteurized, okay? We add some water, and after we are going to add the mix of this flour with salt and sugar. And we are going to blend all together until we have a liquid dough, okay? After that, we have a siphon, so we put this dough in a siphon. So we are going to make a foam of this liquid dough. And by the other side, we are heating oil, virgin olive oil. And in this virgin olive oil, we are going to put a casserole of iron, okay? And now we are going to prepare the filling, no? That we are going to use. In that case is caviar and mozzarella, but and creme fraiche, but you can use, for example, San Marzano tomato, mozzarella, and basil, okay? So we have this casserole that is very, very hot with the oil. We put a little bit of this foam. We put the filling inside, repeat. You can use all the products that you can imagine to make a pizza, and we put in this oil, like if we are going to make pizza frita. In that case, this is real time, so 20 seconds. And it's like magic. It becomes a perfect round, that it's brownie, and outside is crunchy, but inside is very, very light and soft. And the most important thing is that inside we have a fresh product, like caviar and creme fraiche. So what that mean? So that means that with the tradition, we can get the inspiration to make new things. And I'm sure that one day somebody makes the first pizza and somebody says, oh, maybe this is what he's doing, no? Or the first pizza frita. But the thing is that all together we make the gastronomy better. Every time we can find best pizzas around the world, thanks to all the pizzaiolos that makes an amazing job, and thanks to Christian, Joanna, and all the team of Best Pizza, that makes this happen. And we are very happy to be here. So enjoy these days, and viva la pizza. Thank you.
Grazie Eduard, davvero grazie. Scusate, fateli un applauso un po' più lungo, che abbiamo imparato anche a fare uno dei piatti simbolo di Disfrutar a casa.
Because this is one of the, icon recipes at Disfrutar. So just stay with us. Francesco, would you mind joining me on stage?
Here it's okay?
Yeah. Bene, Francesco, prima grazie per essere con noi.
Francesco, hello. Thanks very much for joining us. And we have headphones for translation in case you need that. Please grab a mic. You have whatever you need here. So, first question. As we, are getting ourselves ready, I'm going to ask this question in Italian and I'm going to translate from the stage into English for the audience. First question. I know that you've had a chance of paying a visit to Desfrutar. What did you see there? What did you see on video earlier? And what kind of inspiration are you drawing from these kinds of restaurants? Well, the experience that I had when I visited Desfrutar, and actually the first picture we saw of the first recipe that Eduard showed us, I thought that we are very eager of learning, obviously, because it doesn't have a name, actually, what you showed us. It's a nameless recipe. It's like a comet, And I literally loved that recipe, that dish you showed us. And I thought, gosh, we still have such a long way to go. And there is such a fantastic inspiration, and also your techniques, because, this is a premium restaurant and it serves very varied recipes and high-end techniques. Also for pastry baking, so that's really awesome. So congratulations for that recipe, for that dish. Would you like to come and work with me tomorrow? Well, Francesco, you started out several years ago, and this panel is about tradition and innovation, and both words can be sort of used and abused. But from the tradition standpoint, how did you manage to work on yourself in order to embrace innovation? So to put innovation in this realm, which is the one of pizza. When I started out in 1989, pizza making was not at, say, today's level. Let's say that pizza was some sort of a diversion. And stuff were thrown, different kinds of toppings were just thrown on the dough. So very casual. But I was fortunate enough to have a mentor of mine, and he was extraordinary, I have to say. He was very unusual, very special in a way, because back in the days we were talking about fermentation, and you can think of your own pizza as you please, but there must be the right search for ingredients, for example, the right search for toppings, type of flour, type of oil, extra virgin oil, the type of wood that you use in the oven. And I was fortunate enough, because I was literally struck by what my mentor told me. Coccia came to Naples 20 years after. Coccia is very, very well known. And I have utmost respect for Enzo, because he's very experienced in the domain of San Marzano tomatoes. And again, we're talking about 1989, so it was a completely different point in time. With the passing by of time, then pizza making changed. I started out, doing housekeeping service. I was age 10, actually. I was 10 years old when I started out first, and I was, cleaning and washing the dishes. And And I recall that when I was first asked to make tomato sauce, I was literally on cloud nine. And with that mindset, with the idea of doing better and pushing me forward, I just, cherished that kind of attitude as some sort of a cannibal, I just clung to that because I wanted to perfect my product, my produce. It needed to be better. It needed to be perfect to me. So I spent literally 16 hours a day in the restaurant. And then the 90s came along, which was literally an epoch-making time, There were a couple of pizza chefs in the world, 2 max. And in the past, we were using a fior di latte, shredded mozzarella, that wasn't a premium produce, or sausages that weren't really top quality sausages. And so I thought, this got to change. In 2001, I opened up Masanielli. 24 years ago, my pizzeria, so 20 square meters, only to go. And so I decided to, open my pizza store. It was myself, my brother and my sister, 18 and 16 years of age respectively. And we had this dream. We really wanted to be revolutionary. And the number one was Masaniello in Campania region. And we were the 3 Masaniellis, the 3 Masaniellos. So we drew inspiration from Masaniello, and we really wanted to perfect our pizza making in order to turn it into a sacred art. In a way. Tradition. Tradition is the cornerstone. Tradition means to learn the basics. When a child learns the alphabet. And, innovation goes hand in hand with tradition. And if you really want to be avant-garde, you really have to be disruptive in a way. And so we did. We perfected our pizza making. We launched marinara pizza and then sausages and broccoli. And it had a completely different texture. And it depends when you use friarielli, this typical type of broccoli. So it depends on the seasonality, and you really have to standardize the flavor, and you also have to standardize the texture, And pizza with friarielli, with this kind of broccoli, wasn't really a big hit because, the threads of the friarielli just used to get stuck in our customers' teeth. And so we decided to mainstream it in a way, and we worked on it. And then the marinara came along, Caserta style, which is the signature dish of our restaurant. And the texture of onion, of caramelized onions, Parmigiana with beets, with a different kind of texture. So we're talking about one produce which is used in many different ways. So 7 different types, or better said, 7 different textures when it comes to onions, spinach, for example. So you have the 7 different textures. I have a question for you, Francesco. Well, thanks very much, by the way.
In realtà è una domanda per tutte e due, ma la faccio prima a te. Facevi riferimento al nome Masanielli.
Now, it's a question for the both of you, but I'll ask you first. So, we're talking about revolution. Is the pizza revolution underway? It happened and was successful, or it failed? I don't know. Since you were inspired by a revolutionary man and things did not end so well for him, well, I think it's a never-ending revolution, I think, because there's always room for improvement. We have come this far, but that is not my idea of pizza, because tomorrow I have to make a better pizza than today. That's how I see it, at least. And I think it's the point of view of many people all over the world, because after all, pizza now belongs to the world. There are many professionals in Naples, but there are many also in Milan, Vincenzo Nembo in Amsterdam, for example, many extraordinary pizzaiolos all over the world. And they were brave enough to go away from home, to work away from home, and not do what people used to do in the 70s and the 80s. So that, for example, people left Italy, but they were maybe a plumber, and then they became pizzaiolos when they went abroad. There was no gastronomic culture, and I can say that instead this is the offspring of a world gastronomic culture. So do you agree?
And now
pizza used to be from Italy, and now it's a kind of...
everyone, everywhere. I mean, we've got different kinds of pizza.
Everyone, everywhere?
Careful what you say.
No. It's
a trap.
I'm going to say what I think, honestly.
Sure.
You can go from around the world. You can go to Alaska and talk about pizza. You can go to South Africa, talk about pizza, or around the world. So everybody knows pizza, and everybody loves pizza. And it's not because I'm here. So you go around the world, and I think that pizza maybe is the most important dish that you can find it in the world, because maybe you can think about sushi, but sushi is not like pizza. And there is another important thing, that the pizza is not just a recipe. Pizza is a concept. You can find a lot of different pizzas, amazing, with different doughs, with different ingredients on the top. And as Francesco says, about if pizza is a revolution, so pizza is like the humanity. So pizza is gastronomy. And nowadays we can find amazing pizzaiolos around the world. And nowadays you can find best pizzas than 50 years ago. Because, for example, my grandfather and my family, we are farmers, no? And always we talk about, no, the tomatoes of my grandfather, it was best. I'm not agree at all. Yes. Today, and here we have an example. We have the tomato, we have the cheese, we have the flour. So today, the thing is that gastronomy is not just the chefs. That makes gastronomy, it's a movement, and now people understand that gastronomy, it's very transversal. So in gastronomy, and we start cooking in the country, looking for the best product. But we have the chance that there is amazing companies and amazing people that are focused to make the best cheese that you can use in your pizza, the best flour, the best tomato, and the best ingredient. And of course that cooking is cooking. There are people that doesn't mind about the quality of the products, but this is not gastronomy. This is not gastronomy. We are talking about gastronomy, and here we are talking about the best pizza in the world. So to make the best pizza in the world, you need the best product in the world, and you need the best team in the world. Because it's not just that one person wants to be the best. No. To make the best pizza, you need the best product, you need the best oven, and you need the best people that makes it. And for the other side, and it's very important, you need people that is here, people that knows about what is good and what is not good. Because it's like, people say about tradition and creativity. No, what is better? No, there is good food or bad food. So there is good tradition and bad tradition, because in Spain, people, we talk about tradition, we love tradition. And at Disfrutar, you can eat sauces and things in a dish that it's the tradition. And people eat and say, wow, it's amazing in the taste. But it's easy. So it's like a pizza. A pizza is easy? No. It's very difficult to make a pizza that when you eat, you say, why, mamma mia, no? But this is, and it's gastronomy, and it's what we are talking. So here we are talking about persons that get up in the morning and their dream, because they are professional and they are passionate about pizza, they want to make the best pizza at all. So If you are making maybe just one pizza in your life, if you are passionate about what we do, you want to make the best pizza as you can. And we think that if not, the humanity is finished. I'm sure that there are amazing young people that are, so that young people now, they know a lot than me 30 years ago. They can have the contacts, the information to get the product, to know the techniques. So I'm sure that pizza, it's...
Got the future.
Infinito.
No,
Prego. Sì, infinito.
Volevo menzionare anche Daniele
Yes,
Cason.
I wanted to mention also Daniele Cason. Yes, of course. Well, he's going to be here in 15 minutes, I say, on this stage. I have another question from Francesco, but you are lucky enough to have two of the finest professionals in the field here on stage. So there's some time for 1 or 2 questions from the audience. We have a very packed agenda. Is there anybody who has anything to ask, any curiosity? There you go. Wait for the microphone, please. I'm going to trip for sure. I didn't.
Vabbè, non vorrei usare frasi di circostanza, però ci sentiamo.
I don't mean to be trite, but we are extremely fortunate to have you here with us. You have revolutionized the word of pizza that is so important for Made in Italy, and this is true in particular for Francesco. We exported it throughout the world, and pizza now belongs to the world, as you said. So here's my question, Francesco, as a chef. What do you see happening in 5 years' time? What will pizza be like? What will the restaurant world be like? 5 years, I'm saying. Well, 5 years is nothing, actually. Let's say 10. 5 years. Well, in order to become an acceptable pizzaiolo, you have to spend at least 5 years in the pizzeria. And we see all sorts of things on the internet. Everybody's an expert. They take 1 week now, and online they can become pizzaiolos. I spent 40 years in the kitchen, and I still got to learn a lot. So it would be nice if it took a week, but that's not the case. Now, there's a lot to be said for all the shortcuts that are being taught to young people. We should teach them the craft, the pizza making craft. Too many shortcuts out there and too little craft. I think you need to have the balls to say this kind of things. And that's why I'm here. And mind you, in 5 years' time, we'll see. And I'm sorry, but I'm getting a little upset here, because this is, I think, a very important point. There's years and years of history, our heritage, that we need to take to the future. We need to get people to understand that they are our heritage. But they need to learn the craft to become a craftsman of pizza. You don't need shortcuts for that. It's not that I just call a press office and a press officer someone who's has a lot of followers in social media. That's not what we need to do. That's not what we need. I prefer to leave my mark in the heart, on the heart of people who come to the restaurant, people who come from far away, people who spend 2 years at our restaurant and then maybe another 2 hours waiting for their pizzas. They wasted a whole day on us, and we cannot let them down. This is just my opinion, of course, but you need to give it your very best, and you need to commit to making your customers happy. And this is the core value for us, I think.
The question is also for you. How do you see gastronomy in 5-10 years? It's a simple question.
So I think that I understand Francesco, and I'm sure that I'm totally agree. So if we think about how we see the gastronomy in 20 years, okay, I'm sure that around the world we continue to find these trattoria, pizzeria, restaurants that will be amazing. But to be honest, I think that every time this will be more difficult, and at the end this will be a lux. Because at the end, a person like Francesco, no, that it's himself, with his family, with his team, a lot of years, during this officio, I don't know the word in Italian. So, to be chef is an officio, to be waiter is an officio, to be sommelier is an officio. And this is not a thing that people is making from 7 hours a day. No, when I was young, I was passionate. And I work, and when I finish to work, I'm looking the books or going to a restaurant to eat. So because it was my passion, and I want to have information and learn and learn and learn. And the officio we learn when you are working. So nowadays what happened? That the history changed, no? We have a revolution industrial, so now we have another revolution, no? With the intelligence artificial, no? You can put intelligence artificial pizza, no? Pizza, mortadella with tomato, receipt. You can make it. Well, maybe there are restaurants that are using now, but this is not personal. So for me, this is not interesting. Why? Because people nowadays, you talk and young people knows a lot about to make it. But to make a pizza, it's an officio. You must to make it. You must to burn your fingers. You must to work. And this is a knowledge that you need time. But that you need time. And I think that the change, it must be this freedom. No? Now we are in the era of the freedom. We want to have time for all. That it's very good, so it's your decision. But young people that wants to learn an officio, why they cannot work? So if I work 7 hours, okay, but if I want to work 10 hours to learn more, why? Because if I want to learn the best pizza, to know the best product, or to have a restaurant where you go in the restaurant and don't say to the guests, hurry, that, no, we must close. So what we are talking about. So it's for that, and at the end, this will be luxury. So now, so we have a lucky that we don't think about. You can go to a pizzeria and for 12 euros eat a pizza that is fantastic. This is a present nowadays. This is a present, 12 euros, and you eat a dish that it's made by hand with the best products and all of that. So, but the problem is that when we talk about gastronomy, yeah, all the life we eat, no. We are talking about another thing. So when we are talking about to have a unique experience, this means that there is a team with talent, that they must have very good conditions, because we need to give good conditions to our team, to these young people wants to be pizzaiolos, wants to be chef, you know? And I think that the change, okay, yeah, the industry must change, but the guests must change. So if you have the restaurant and you say, okay, you came at 9 o'clock at night, yes, so don't come at 10. Respect. And I think that it's respect from the guest, and respect for the person that go to a place to eat a pizza, that there is a group of persons that are looking for the best product, looking for the best service. You have a very nice restaurant, so this you must pay. It's not 12 euros.
Bravo.
I think that.
Bene. Credo che anche tutte le persone presenti.
Well, I think that everybody agrees with Eduard and Francesco. Unfortunately, the session's over. Thank you very much. Let's give it up for our guests, very special guests. Muchas gracias. and see you in just a few minutes with our second panel. We'll be back with Daniele, Cason, who was mentioned just a few minutes ago. Yuichi, Javiera, Contardo, and Valeria, Zuppardo. See you in a few minutes, and we'll take pizza around the world.
Buon pomeriggio di nuovo. Tra pochi istanti inizia il nuovo talk, quindi se volete bere, fumare caffè è il momento di
coffee or you want to take a sip of a drink, go ahead, but then come right back. I would like to ask the protagonist of the next talk to start approaching, in particular Yuichi Ito, Daniele, Cason, Javiera, Contardo, and Valeria, Zuppardo. We'll see you here in a couple of minutes. Thank you.
Bene, eccoci qua. Chiamerei sul palco i nostri ospiti che saranno in giro.
Next speakers to join me on stage. I'm sure you're roaming around the room and tasting delicious stuff. Valeria, you're right here if you can join me. There's a staircase around there. Yuichi Ito, Daniele, Cason, and Javiera, Contardo, if you can please join me here on stage. And I would also ask Christian and company to help me out here. Of course, if you need translation, we're going to be speaking Italian here, and there's a translation you're listening to. So this is the English channel. So welcome back, actually. Please take a seat if you want to. There's still some empty seats here. You can also stand. Now we have enough chairs for everybody, so we can keep talking about the same topics, but I hope you can hear the translation through the headphones. I hope you can hear it. Okay, so we're going to be talking about tradition and the future, but differently, because we're going to take pizza all over the world. We actually mentioned the fact that pizza has different expressions, different embodiments. And this is what we will be talking about with chefs and pizzaiolis from all over the world, not just in Italy. So to my far right, let's follow the seating order here. We have, the closest actually. Daniele Cason is actually the closest to me, but he's very far away, in fact, because he's in charge of the Mandarin Oriental in Tokyo. He has a lot to do with the pizza there. And I recently interviewed him, actually, to talk about how iconic dishes from Italy are evolving, even when they travel very, very far. And then we also talked about the opposite, that is to say, when the cuisine of places that are very far away gets to Italy. Now we have next to Daniele, Yuichi Ito from Crosta. They actually shared a part of their journey together in Tokyo, but now Yuichi is in Crosta, and that is in Manila, Philippines. Thank you so much for being with us. And next to Yuichi, there's Javiera Contardo. I'm going to say it wrong, but maybe, I don't know. Sorry if I said it wrong. It's in Santiago de Chile. And fairly close to home, there's Valeria Zuppardo, who's in Rome, based in Rome with TAC. So thank you for being with us. Thanks to the four of you. So, Daniele, let's start with you. And let's also continue to, this is a very informal chat, just so you know, so it's very relaxed. So a few weeks ago, as I said, I interviewed you online. So Daniele, let's continue what we were saying there. It's like part of the word heritage, pizza nowadays, and we shouldn't be afraid of pizza because there are many great pizzaiolos around the world, many great pizzerias around the world, and it's thanks to them that this recipe evolves over time and changes over time, and that's something you have experienced firsthand, because you were telling me about a fantastic amatriciana with eel. What happens to a dish when it travels the world? I agree. Pizza is something that is constantly evolving, and we all represent it differently, as Francesco said earlier. We take it very personally, we give it our own twist, and it is through our work. We're many different professionals, we all see it our way. I've been working in Tokyo for 12 and plus years, and of course my research has focused on that area. So the idea of an eel to be used in a matriciana, well, that's because of the fatty content that is similar to the guanciale. It's a product that is highly appreciated in Japan. There's the numburi dishes in Japan that are very famous. It gets so crunchy. There's this fattiness that's really, really reminiscent of guanciale. So anguilla, eel, pecorino romano, it's a sort of sea version of a matriciana. But is there a right way and a wrong way to bring cultures together? Which is the right way to bring different gastronomic cultures together? What is the thing that we need to keep in mind? Maybe you need to be familiar with both, very familiar with both, and then have the right palate to find a point of contact. Well, I think you'd always need to keep your objective in mind generally, I try to come up with a recipe that's an Italian recipe. A Japanese product helps me to express the local area and to bring out the skills, to really showcase the skills of the people working with me. But the vision here lies in creating a recipe that brings me back to Italy and my country. And Yuichi, I move on to you because you worked together in the same place, let's say, for a while. But now you moved out and you went to Manila. But your background is quite different. You're familiar with Italian cuisine, you're familiar with French cuisine, many different cuisines. So this is a similar question to the one I asked Daniele. How can all these identities coexist in you?
Well, I think first of all, you have to respect histories and tradition. I think for me mostly, I've always taken time to learn what people try to do in their own culture. I think I've always believed in, you need to learn a rule first before you can actually break a rule. If you just break a rule and try to innovate out of nothing, sometimes people don't really get it. Because like what Chef Eduardo was saying, for you to innovate is for you to learn tradition, and from here you can relate a lot of things. And for me, especially, who's not even a little bit of Italian at all, I was trying to learn with Chef Daniele before, with all our Italian colleagues, how they think, what they like, and what they understand and not. And from this, we get things that I think that is good from Italian, and things that I think good in Japan, and things that I think that is good in the Philippines, and combine it together to create all these things.
Well, thank you. That's really interesting, because if you want to break the rules, first of all, you got to know the rules. And, Picasso, before being Picasso, and before coming out with a new piece of artwork, was a figurative painter. But it isn't always true, because, for example, in the States, let's take the pop art scene. They were very innovative because they had no traditions whatsoever. So how does that mean? Not having a tradition on your shoulders, does that mean freedom in a way?
I think that's a super interesting question, because, like for me, I wasn't a pizza chef. I didn't have any background of making pizza or even bread at all when I started making pizza with Daniele. And for me, that was an advantage at one point, because I could have created something super interesting, like what you were talking about with the pop culture. And the way I saw pizza, and maybe other people, how they see pizza, is super different. That's why if you see the pizzas that I've been making now, it's so different from traditional or the margarita and marinara that we see as of now. But super nice question, super nice, super nice.
Grazie. Daniele, torno un secondo da te.
Well, thank you. So let me go back to Daniele for a second. And I'd like to follow up on what we've said so far. I'm thinking about the relationship between gastronomy and pizza making. And I'm thinking about the possibility of engaging chefs that are not pizza makers, but that can still give their contribution in a way. And I guess that this has helped us tremendously to make progress in this industry, isn't it? Well, of course, having a deep rooted background in fine dining or dining in general, perhaps helps design different styles of pizza making. So if you are knowledgeable about different cooking techniques, perhaps this helps. But as you said, you have to have years of experience. I know, there are those, talents, they're very special, and they just, come out of nothing, and they work their magics. But as far as I see it, I think it takes a lot of years, a lot of work, and sweat and tears in a way, because no matter where you come from, if you're really into research, you can't stop there. You can't just stop at basic learning or basic knowledge. You have to keep on studying. You have to keep on experimenting. So Yuichi and I came from, dining and cooking. Others instead came straight from pizza making, and they get into fine dining because they want to grow. Right, Eduard and Francesco earlier put their accent on the importance of working. You gotta work, you gotta do the work, and maybe you can have an epiphany, but that's quite rare. Javiera, Daniele earlier talked about training. You can't hear translation? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. So I was saying that earlier in the previous panel, we talked about training. So the importance of training professionals, of training younger generations as well.
English? Okay. They work in big restaurants, and training is it's very important for them. The training, the classes for the employees, but you work a lot with classes, with the training, with other people. Tell us a little bit on about your story, and also about your work with classes.
Okay, well, thank you very much for the question. My name is Javiera, and dough, it's because of dough, like impasto, but we just cut it a little bit. That's the reason of the name of our brand. I began to do pizza like 5 years ago, just for fun, coming from another business, very different. I just had to start all over again. My family is from Italy, so they pushed me like, you have to do something related with food in Italy. But I knew I had to become someone that has the correct information, that studies enough, so that's why I came to Napoli to study about pizza napoletana, to be responsible on the information I was gonna give to people. I never thought on giving classes. I just thought maybe I'm gonna have a pizzeria, I'm gonna maybe sell doughs, I don't know. But I got an invitation, I took it, and the class was full. So there I knew that there were people that wanted to learn about how to make a great pizza at home or how to begin their own small business. So that's like my people. And I work with my family. We have 25 classes per month. We have started almost 3 years ago. We have 4,000 students. And basically, we teach people on pizza napoletana and different styles so they can begin their business. And as you said, young people that maybe have their jobs, they're not happy with their jobs, and they want to begin something new. Maybe that they're talented or not, because I really think talent is one thing, but discipline and work and studying all over again is so important. And keep updated on what's happening, So I keep on studying for the same reason the whole time. I admire so much the panel with their pizzas are amazing. I'm always trying to be better. And the first time I went out of Chile, besides Napoli, it was to Las Vegas, this pizza expo. And I went there just to watch the great pizza makers make pizza. I just knew that watching people would make me have more information, the correct information, and just get better every day. People sometimes in the videos see me stretch the pizza as if I had this really big talent, but they don't know that behind there's a lot of work. One day after the other one, just stretching the pizza and getting better.
Do you teach how to make pizza, but also how to run the business?
Yes, exactly. That is what I did before. I worked in this commercial part in business, so I try to put those two parts together, pizza and how to run a business. And yeah, people think that I'm very young. I'm not that young. That's why they ask, like, how does she know about business? I'm 35 years old, so I began to work at 18 on business, making mistakes, doing good things. So that I try to mix it with pizza and help all these entrepreneurs to begin with something. Yeah.
Grazie, grazie.
Valeria, over to you. So, I'd like to explore with you something else. I mean, you are, very well known, and I suppose that your success is, of course, the result of the quality of your products, but also to be able to communicate who you are, because, we have a panel of professionals here, and so many others in the audience. So I'm thinking about the fact that when you work this business, when you own it and run it, it doesn't only mean to be a good sort of craftsman, but also to be a very good entrepreneur, right? Well, good evening, everyone, and thanks very much for this question. What you said is indeed right. Daniele and I have different backgrounds, and we were sort of the new kids in town in terms of pizza making, me especially. And perhaps the fact that we were not belonging to this world gave us a different perspective on pizza making, and how you sort of consume pizza. And we all started out from the fact that you have to put produce at the very center. So you have to have premium products, well designed, and so you can't actually, improvise there. Daniele is an expert in this regard. He worked hard during the years, and then he literally developed his personal pizza dough that comes from an easy, digestible, and well-thought-out dough. And then we thought about toppings that are to be very well paired. And he's very curious in terms of gastronomy in general. He's been relentless throughout these years. So we do have a product-centric approach, but the fact that we did not belong to that world, because I used to work in fashion, and I lived abroad for 15 years. So I was the outsider in a way, and we wanted to have a global approach to our business. So in a way, we took a step back, and we thought, we like pizza, the whole world likes pizza. You can pronounce the word pizza in every language, so it's some sort of a trans-social, national and cross-cutting experience. All cultures have their own pizza. So in light of that, why not give pizza a different, setting in a way? Why not think of a pizzeria where the two of us like and hang out there? Because we went to pizza places in London, in Paris, that were not, quintessential pizzerias. They were like cocktail bars, restaurants, hotels, things like that. And there is this expat community. Once you're an expert, you're always an expat. And there is some sort of a fil rouge there. It's a supranational kind of taste in a way. And so that was our reference framework. And then we decided to use pizza as a lingo, as a language. So pizza is the content. Let's reshuffle the cards. Let's reshape the setting. And so we created our faux pizzeria. And it didn't look like a pizzeria, but it was. It's called Pizza Illuminati. And it drew the attention of some hotel chains, especially the Marriott hotel chain. And so we got proposed from the Bulgari hotel CEO to put pizza into the Dubai-based Bulgari hotel. And then the transition was very seamless, I have to say, was very immediate, because then the type of product remained unchanged in terms of knowledge, heritage, and doing things well, and craftsmanship. Besides, made in Italy is highly appreciated abroad, much more than it is appreciated in Italy itself. So we were by then very familiar with the product, and so we decided to showcase it and to propose it in a sort of a super luxury setting, which was a gamble initially, but it turned out to be a tremendous success. And Daniele Cason knows it really well, I think, because he paved the way with the Four Seasons. It's a 5-star luxury hotel where the pizza is an experience in itself. Same for the Dubai-based Bulgari Hotel. You are there nibbling a pizza, facing the marina there. So it's not, disruption, but it's rather a successful wedding. That's how I would think of it. That's absolutely true. I would concur with you. And I have to say that hotels are helping the pizza universe because they serve as a springboard, like a platform where pizza can be showcased and help people, especially young generations, to do better. Yes, and besides, it has a huge potential. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think that it is gathering momentum. All hotels want to have signature pizzas, fine pizzas. So, yeah, you're right. Up until recently, for example, a few years back, it was, pretty standard to have a starred restaurant in a hotel. And there are thousands of examples. So they were looking for branded food contents in order to increase the value of the hotel itself. And then considering the potential of pizza, which from the business standpoint delivers a very high marginality, especially when you use, and even if you use premium products. So it turned out to be a very successful model because this approach really reflects multiculturalism. Glocal, we're talking about glocal, that's the buzzword. It's an Italian experience that is translated into a global lingo, thus respecting the contents. Thank you so much. Yuichi, back to you. And you are indeed the right person I would like to ask this question to. So a question about life and success, and also the fortunate time of pizza in hotels, because I know that you also have this kind of experience. So Valeria has talked us through, is pizza the right product in the right place, speaking of hotels?
Well, I think it is. And the fact that she was talking about, how all the hotels wanted a Michelin star restaurant, and now everyone suddenly want to have a pizza. We've been actually getting a lot of offers, having our brand into a hotel locally and overseas. I think what's beautiful with what we've made with our brands, because we have two brands, we have Crossa and we have Bianca. What happened actually was Crossa has become something more higher in margin, where we can offer people a good price and attract more people, share to more people, which I think was a super important point from what I'm trying to do, especially in Southeast Asia. And Bianca is something, super intimate, like pizza bar, 8-seaters, chef is cooking in front of you. And I think this idea alone wouldn't be able to stand up on its own as a business if it wasn't for Crosta. So I think hotels actually really helped a lot with the gourmet pizza, as we call it now.
Molte grazie. Visto che abbiamo la fortuna di avere 4 persone
since we are fortunate enough to have 4 fine speakers that travel the world, let me ask you this. So starting from the assumption that Italy is the quintessential sort of pizza place, starting from Javiera, I would like to ask you this question. What are the places in the world where things are happening? So places that are making waves in a way when it comes to pizza making culture and innovation in this domain, because many colleagues here also travel and work abroad. And you can also mention your own spots. Obviously, if you mention your own city, that's more than fine.
Well, I think the whole world or different continents are doing a great job on pizza, taking it seriously or trying to give the correct information and respect for the product. For example, before I answer your question, what we would try to do in our classes is to not only teach people how to make a good pizza, but to understand the product, how important the product is, how important it is to recognize a good pizza. So that also helps the industry and the pizzerias, so people put a higher value on the pizza, you know, especially with Napoletana, that sometimes as it flops a little bit, people that we're used to, for example, American pizza, do not like it at the beginning, but time, I think, has demonstrated how good a pizza that has a good product behind, a good technique and time is great. So saying that, I don't want to speak only of my region, but Latin America is doing a great job. We can see it not only in different awards, but people are taking very seriously. I think we are the last, continent or region that got pizza like really famous, or pizza napoletana. So maybe we started after, but I think they're doing pizza in a very serious way, respecting the tradition that I think is very important, and then innovating. So really, I think Colombia, well, my country, Chile, Argentina, Peru, Mexico, Venezuela, etc., are doing a great job. Central America, Costa Rica, and you can see it here. The people that are from Latin America are not the same amount that came last year. We have more, so that's because we're doing, I think, a very serious job about pizza.
Daniele.
I think that the world is a global place, and there's no one place. I think the people that are in this room right now are really making the innovation in the future. The fact that the best pizza is gathering everyone here, it shows that everyone is actually working hard to improve. So we're all connected, we all look at each other, we all study each other, we all think how we can do better. And I think that is because there is no one place, but it's every person that is working so hard, that is probably present tonight, and not just who's not here tonight, but everyone else who's working hard, making great pizzas are worthy of being mentioned.
Si vede che lavori in un grande gruppo per la tua diplomazia, ma dopo me lo faccio dire in privato. Esatto. Quando passa all'inglese diventa diplomatico.
Correct. When you switch into English, you sound very diplomatic, as if it is like some sort of an official interview. So, Valeria, over to you.
Italian, do I switch as well to be different? No, io credo.
Well, I very much like what Javiera said. I think that in terms of wine and food, I'm thinking that Spain is really, making waves. And this has positive reverberations in pizza making as well. What Javiera said really got me thinking, because whenever there is a strong Italian root, like parents, grandparents, and the Italianness heritage is very well perceived, well, there is a lot of respect for traditions, and hence such traditions are proposed in a very serious and reputable way. And people are very respectful of those traditions. So And same applies to Latin America, where there is like a strong Italian, heritage and legacy. So it's a matter of respecting one's cultural roots, because food means culture, means traditions, and so that's how I see it. And then we have Southeast Asia and East Asia, where pizza is highly attractive. And so the approach is very serious in a way, professional, I mean. And we had lots of pizzaiolos from Japan, from Malaysia, and their approach is extremely professional. They spend hours in the kitchen because they really want to learn. So I think that the common value is love for the products and love for one's traditions, and the results usually follow. Yuichi, would you like to be as diplomatic as your colleague was, or else?
I think I'm gonna answer as what I've always done with things. I'm gonna go out of the way of what everyone had just said. But I think everyone's answer is super important and super nice to hear, because at one point, we will inspire people what they think about it. But I think as much as I want to say it's Philippines or Japan where I'm based, I think for me, Italy and Japan has always have this thing of super close to tradition, that sometimes growth becomes super slow, or even at one point almost to none. And when I was starting to make pizza in Japan, I've always, like in Japan, people always made pizza napoletana, always sticking to marinara and margherita. But then working with Daniele, kind of reminds me of the reason why we're even doing this thing. And I think there's always need to be that one person or two person or a group of people that actually try to make a movement where, it's time to change. And I think with Daniele and Senora Francesco doing something new, like people who always look up to, doing something new and moving to something new is super inspirational. And I think Japan and Italy brings so much power to this movement.
Grazie. Questo è il momento in cui vi chiedo se c'è qualcuno
Thank you. Now the time has come to open for questions from the audience. I have one more question, and I will try and ask this question. It's not a diplomatic question at all. Now, maybe we have some questions here from the audience. You have all professionals here. You have 4 great professionals here, so take advantage of their presence. Let me start to break the ice. This is an uncomfortable question in a way. We can start with Javiera, perhaps. Is there something missing from the world of pizza?
That's a good question. If there's something missing in the pizza industry, maybe more spaces like this. We have a lot, but it's never enough, to get to expose your vision, your work. I think that's the only thing it's missing, because work is going on, innovation as well, hard work as well. People are really respecting the tradition, so maybe just more spaces like the Best Pizza Awards in the world, not only in Italy, but in other places where people from all over the world can come. So yeah, I just think that's missing.
Grazie, Valeria.
Thank you, Valeria.
Dirò 2 cose.
Well,
La parte imprenditoriale.
2 things. From an entrepreneurial point of view, we lack adequate training and recognition. There is a hotellerie school to start working in a hotel. For example, if you want to become a chef, you have a school, but that's not the case for pizzaiolos, I think. And it's important also to distinguish different professions. So it's not just a 1-month course that turns you into a fantastic pizza maker. That's not the case. And then again, from the business point of view, you, there's no recognition of the segmentation of pizzerias. Pizzerias all fall within the same category. A pizza should be maximum €20 each, and that's it. That's not how it should be. You know, the Michelin guide for restaurants, we need something like that for pizzerias. You need to break them down. Fine dining, casual pizzerias, you know. Of course, with restaurants, you have a trattoria, you have a bistro, you have a 3-star restaurant. But a pizza is always a pizza. It's always the same thing. That's not the case at all. We heard it before, too. You're paying for the ambience, the training of the staff, and the wine list, for example, and the products you're eating in your pizza. So I think there should be a greater, more widespread recognition at world level of the differences between different kinds of pizzerias. This would boost quality pizzerias, and it would also help the customers, I think. For the rest, we have it all. Yuichi, what do you think is missing?
More pineapple on pizza. Well, I think what that means is like what everyone said, you know, more openness to chefs. Not only to chefs, actually, to consumers, where, you know, I think at one point we have to understand as well that the chefs are changing, pizza chefs are changing, everything is changing, and I think it's just the openness, the open mind to accept these kind of things.
Molte grazie.
Thank you.
But not the least.
And last but not least, Daniele. Let's see if you are less diplomatic. I don't know if do we have to speak English or Italian. I'm more diplomatic in English, like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I think we lack support. That's what's missing. Support from our customers, I would say, because you talked about the professionals, but customers too should understand that pizza is changing. Sometimes I have to deal with customers who are lagging behind, so to speak. They don't realize that there's a lot going on behind pizzas. There's a lot of research going on before they eat a pizza, and they are stuck at the situation 20 years ago that was different than it is today. There's so much more quality, so many more professionals who are focused on quality pizza. So I would like customers to wake up. You were very non-diplomatic. Thank you for that. Okay. Thank you for being with us. And thanks, really. So we went to, well, we were pretty good because we were quick, but we said relevant things, I am sure. So thank you for being here with us. Thank you. In a few minutes, we'll start with our Masterclass. We're a little late, but we need coffee.
Grazie a tutti.
Thank you.